Is there such a thing as drinking too much water? We'll take a look at what the experts say, and we preview a romantic comedy in theaters right now. Plus, we remember, honor, and celebrate the Queen of Soul. Mid-Morning starts right now.
WCBI's Mid-Morning with Aundria, breaking away from your everyday.
Good morning, everyone. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety is out with a new round of crash tests. This time, the group looked at minivans. Hina Doba reports.
Researchers tested 3 minivans, the Honda Odyssey, Chrysler Pacifica, and Toyota Sienna, to see how they performed in crash tests on the front corner of the passenger side. The Odyssey came out on top with a good overall rating. The Pacifica was given an acceptable rating.
The Honda Odyssey and the Chrysler Pacifica are IIHS top safety picks. They have good ratings in all of our other crash tests. David Zuby is the Chief Research Officer for the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. He says the seatbelts and airbags performed well in all the minivans, but the Toyota Sienna received a marginal rating overall. The safety cage collapsed so much that we measured front parts of the vehicle structure moving back towards the passenger dummy as much as 20 inches.
20.2.
Researchers also tested 5 minivans to see how easy it was to install car seats using the vehicle's built-in latch hardware, which stands for lower anchors and tethers for children.
It is a system that all cars are required to have on board. It was required to help make it easier for parents to install child restraints.
The Honda Odyssey received the highest grade for ease of use. The Dodge Grand Caravan, Kia Sedona, and Toyota Sienna finished with an acceptable. The Chrysler Pacifica received a marginal rating. The IIHS says overall latch ratings have improved over the past 3 years. So has crash test performance as automakers continue to build safer vehicles. Hina Doba, CBS News, New York.
Researchers in California are developing a series of robots that can function on their own without any source of power. Chris Martinez explains how plastic machines work.
Inside these 3D printed devices, there are no batteries, no motors, no power source at all. But once in the water, they seem to come alive, making short bursts of movement on their own.
It's basically all plastics and it's all soft.
Developer Osama Bilal says it's the plastic material itself that makes the robots move. The first of their kind machines respond to changes in temperature. When a cold robot meets warm water, the material changes shape, allowing the machines to make small movements.
In the study that we have right now, we can make the robot move forward, turn right or left, deliver something, and then come back.
Those movements for now are limited, but researchers foresee the soft robots fulfilling important roles in the future, from exploring oceans to fighting ailments inside the human body.
You can think of scaling this down to centimeter sizes.
Chiara Durayo believes the biodegradable devices could be designed to safely exist in the body, to carry and release medication at precise moments.
You can design to interact with the pH of the human body and respond to specific cues like presence of certain proteins or temperature.
Researchers say uses like that are still likely years away, but they believe these robots will get there, one small paddle at a time. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Pasadena, California.
Right now, researchers have programmed one of the robots to deliver a payload and return, all without the use of any power source. It is a normal debate. How much water should we be drinking? Every day? 8 glasses? A gallon? Well, experts reveal that number, and how much is too much is up to you and your thirst. Reed Binion has more.
Are you drinking enough water? Are you staying hydrated? These are common questions, but what about these? Are you drinking too much water? Are you overhydrated? These are questions you probably aren't used to, but can be just as important. While it's not as common, overhydration can be an actual problem, and in rare cases, a deadly one. It's known as hyponatremia. Hyponatremia occurs when your blood salt levels are diluted below the normal range from drinking too much water or sports drinks. This drop causes the body, and in some cases even the brain, to swell. This can be especially concerning for student athletes and those participating in endurance sports. The symptoms are similar to dehydration, but increasing fluids in this case is a big mistake. Experts say the best rule of thumb is simply to listen to your body. Drink when you're thirsty and simply stop when you aren't. So whether you're on a Netflix binge or running a 10K, this method will keep you properly hydrated. For today's Health Minute, I'm Reed Binion.
Coming up, what makes a family may surprise you. The lengths these moms went to make a family for their children. That story ahead on Mid-Morning. Welcome back. This morning we introduce you to a group of families first brought together by the unique bond their children share. Now they all share a special tradition. Anna Warner shows us it's as meaningful to these parents as it is for their kids.
The Tykes from Texas
After we get it up there.
and the Lows from California
How many days are we going to be there?
are prepping for their annual reunion.
Here we come. We're on our way.
But in this family, none of the adults are related. It's the kids who are all half-brothers or sisters. All 10 are genetically related and have a special nickname.
I'll usually say, oh, we're going to the Dibbling reunion. The what?
Dibblings, or donor siblings, because their parents, strangers originally, all chose the same sperm donor. A man single mom Tara Goldstein selected because she says,
I wanted someone with height, and I also wanted someone really good at math because that's not one of my strongest skill set.
Goldstein gave birth to Molly in 2012, but soon realized her daughter would have no siblings.
She was going to be an only child, and that made me a little sad. I knew that if there was an opportunity to find some blood relatives, I didn't want to deny her that opportunity.
Then she visited the Donor Sibling Registry, a website where parents can share information about their donors, and found her daughter had half-siblings around the country. This extended family now includes 2 families from New York, 1 from New Jersey, 2 families from Texas, 1 in Colorado, and 1 in California.
It began slowly, like exchanging pictures and seeing how much the kids looked alike, and it was just, it was uncanny.
Now the parents bring their 10 children in ages ranging from 3 to 5 together every year.
And so do you see things from your kids to the other kids? You go, oh, that's so similar.
Oh, yeah, personality traits. You see some of them are so different, but they're so much the same.
Good job. Do it again.
Jamie Lynn Sergi says that natural kinship has been crucial for her 5-year-old son Michael, who has autism.
Yeah!
He doesn't always connect well with other kids. He's the brightest little boy in the world, but he just has that connection issue.
Yet he found an immediate connection with his half-brother from across the country.
Look.
5-year-old Mason.
That's a brother bond. That's not a friend bond.
So what's it done for the 2 of you to have this?
It definitely gives you a peace of mind, anything he has towards maybe having 2 moms or going, without a dad. He'll have these other 9 children to have his back.
Today, the bond has become more than biological for families who started off separated but became one.
Tell me what you like about seeing each other every year.
It's great.
Why?
Because we love each other.
I just feel that it's really important for families like ours to kind of be proud of what we've done. It's not perfect, but it's love.
When we return, it's just a story about a guy and a girl. So what's everyone talking about? We'll tell you ahead on Mid-Morning. The romantic comedy Crazy Rich Asians opened this week amid lots of buzz, that is, about its potential to shatter stereotypes. It's predicted to have a big impact at the box office this weekend, with estimates it could rake in more than $25 million. There's a lot more riding on it, though, than just ticket sales for this all-Asian cast. CBS Sunday Morning's Lee Cowan spoke with the movie's director about how he hopes the film can make a cultural impact in Hollywood.
These people aren't just rich, okay? They're crazy rich.
In a better world, we wouldn't be talking about the ethnicity of the cast in Crazy Rich Asians. We'd be talking about whether or not they give a good performance. Overall, most critics agree they do.
We've been dating for over a year now, and I think it's about time people met my beautiful girlfriend.
But it's the oddity of an all-Asian cast that's still drawing headlines. And for director John M. Chu, that's just fine. For now.
I hope that in 10 years, we look back at this moment and we forget about it. We're like, that was a thing? An all-Asian cast was a thing?
It is a thing, given that this is the first studio film since the Joy Luck Club. Way back in 1993, to feature an Asian American ensemble.
3, 2, 1, action!
When Chu, a veteran of Hollywood, set out to bring Kevin Kwan's popular novel to life, he knew it would be a watershed moment, but he had no idea just how much it would affect him personally.
It's the most present movie I've ever made.
Which means what?
Going through this cultural identity crisis at the same time of making it. I cry every 4 hours thinking about it because you feel that your movie is more than just for yourself at that point.
Chu, an Asian American whose parents owned a Chinese restaurant, loved movies as a kid. That's him dressed as Yoda. But he rarely saw anyone who looked or sounded like him on the big screen. Chu realized, as a director, he wasn't casting Asians either, and was part of the problem.
I think for myself as an artist, I wanted to know that I was an artist. Like, what do I have the courage to push something through the system that I now have known so well for the last 10 years? So that desire grew too much for me to hold inside, and it was time.
Rebecca Sun is a senior reporter at The Hollywood Reporter. Movies are her life, and yet this one felt decidedly different.
To see one about a Chinese American girl like myself, who looks and dresses like me, it was incredible. And it felt really, really validating, and it felt like recognition.
The stakes for tonight's opening are high, and so are the expectations. Maybe impossibly high.
Do you think it's a Black Panther kind of moment in film?
I mean, it's tricky because it's hard to compare anything to Black Panther. It's a amazing piece of work that has changed the landscape. We are on the beginning of a journey, and I think this cracks the door.
You'd be happy if it just doesn't happen.
I'd be happy if people go to the movie and have a great time. You can't take back what you see.
I think I've just fallen in love with you all over again.
And what you see is a romantic comedy about a boy and a girl and the complexity of family. That could be almost anyone, almost anywhere. And that's the point. Lee Cowan, Hollywood.
Well, there will never be anyone like her again. Paying tribute to Aretha Franklin next on Mid-Morning. Well, as you know right by now, music legend Aretha Franklin has died of pancreatic cancer at the age of 76. According to her publicist, Franklin passed away Thursday morning at her Detroit home with her family and loved ones by her side. It comes 3 days after it was revealed that Franklin was in hospice care. Across more than 5 decades, her voice belted out songs of change, joy, and pain. Stephanie Elam has more on the woman known as the Queen of Soul.
She was the Queen of Soul who garnered respect on and off stage. Born Aretha Louise Franklin in Memphis, Tennessee, the 4-octave range vocalist got her start at a young age in her father's church in Detroit. The incomparable songstress often credited him with nurturing her burgeoning talent.
Very early on, he taught me a number of things having to do with timing and phrasing and different things like that, and coaching me in different ways. He did say at one point that one day I would sing for kings and queens. He did say that, and I have.
Franklin won her first of many Grammys in 1967 for Best Female Rhythm and Blues Solo Vocal Performance for Respect.
It was a civil rights mantra. I perfectly thought it applied well. Everybody wants respect. Who doesn't want respect?
As a young woman in the 60s, she watched her father unite with Martin Luther King Jr. to fight for equality. In 1968, she would sing at King's memorial service. The recording artist would go on to win 18 Grammys throughout her incredible career. She also took home awards for hits like Chain of Fools and Freeway of Love. Franklin was also ahead of her time with a string of firsts. In 1987, she was the first woman to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and 7 years later became the youngest recipient of a Kennedy Center honor.
Some of the things that have happened are unbelievable. Who would have thought it? But nevertheless, it did happen. God is good.
In the 80s, Franklin adapted her music for a new generation, cruising away with a Grammy for 1987's I Knew You Were Waiting, her chart-topping duet with George Michael. With her voice and her formidable achievements in music and films like The Blues Brothers, Aretha is often considered to be one of the greatest singers of all time. In 2015, Franklin graced the Kennedy Center stage again, this time to honor Carole King. As she sang, President Obama wiped a tear from his eye. Her performance went viral.
I come treated of thee, sweet.
She also sang for Obama and Presidents Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton at their inaugurations. However, the woman who sang for kings and queens reveled in being good at the most important job in the world.
I've been a wonderful and a very good mother, and am a very good mother. That's what I am most proud of first.
A loving mother and a decorated diva, Franklin was most of all grateful for her music, her longevity, and her audiences throughout her career.
I think for me, it's the love of the music, loyal fans.
Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, whose reign transcends generations.
Well, this is also the anniversary of the death of Elvis Presley. Thousands of people are in Memphis this week to honor the rock and roll legend on the 41st anniversary of his death, including the annual candlelight vigil at Graceland. Hundreds of people stand in line to pass by the tomb of Elvis. The event can take all night and often ending as the sun comes up. Coming up, we'll wrap things up. Stay with us. All right, as we leave you today, 3 years ago, singer and songwriter Carole King was honored by the Kennedy Center. On that night, the most special tribute came from a woman who first sang King's song, Natural Woman. It became a huge hit and changed both of their lives. We leave you this morning on the stage of the Kennedy Center with Aretha Franklin singing Natural Woman. Enjoy, and thanks for joining us.